Alright guys, I hope you're having a lovely day, okay? Today guys, I want to talk about the Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake. So if you guys have been living under a rock, these games have been announced for a remake. It's not the biggest surprise ever for anyone that's been sort of paying attention, because there's been lots of rumours about them anyway, but it was nice to see it confirmed in the trailer, and I think what was most exciting about it was actually the release date, the fact that it's coming so soon. We've only got a few months to wait. I think it's releasing in July, which is absolutely amazing, so of course I pre-ordered my copy. I cannot wait for it. And seeing that trailer, guys, I got just immediate goosebumps, like just seeing all of those old maps recreated, you know, for modern like eyes, I suppose. It was just so cool to see. Not to mention the fact that they played Ace of Spades in the trailer, which of course is an iconic song from Pro Skater 3. So yeah, like I said guys, super duper excited. I cannot wait for this remake. With that said, I am a little bit scared. I can't lie. Like there is a bit of me, like I'd say I'm 75% excited, but 25% just a bit, you know, like a little bit concerned. Now, when it comes to gaming franchises, guys, Tony Hawk's is my number one, alright? It's my favourite gaming franchise easily. I'd say the only game franchise that comes close is Resident Evil, and I still think Tony Hawk's is my number one. And when it comes to the PS2 era of Tony Hawk, it is just so absolutely elite. Like, the games they were putting out on the PS2 were just ridiculously good. Obviously, Pro Skater 1 and 2, they're amazing. You know, I love the PS1 ones, but they haven't exactly aged the best. Like, if you go back and play them on PS1 at least, they're not the craziest. Pro Skater 2 is still fairly playable, but if you go back and play through the entire thing, which I did a little while ago now, it's still, you know, it's rough around the edges because it's on the PS1. When it comes to the PS3 era of Tony Hawk, it was incredibly underwhelming and really the death of Tony Hawk's when you think about it. We had Project 8, which was definitely not the best. It's not awful, but it's just not great. Proving Ground was incredibly disappointing. Then you've got all of those weird spin-off ones that just flopped miserably, ones like Shred and Ride. So yeah, the PS3 era was definitely not good. But when it comes to the PS2 era, guys, oh my god, the games they put out on the PS2. I mean, Pro Skater 3 is one of the best games ever made. I stand by that. Pro Skater 4, it might be my favorite Tony Hawk's game. It's between this and Underground 2. I love them so much. And of course, Underground 2 is on PS2 as well as Underground 1. And you guys can tell from the poster behind me that I love Underground 1. And of course, you've got the incredibly underrated American Wasteland. So you've got 5 iconic Tony Hawk games on the PS2. And yeah, I can't wait for them to be remade, but part of me is just obviously scared that they fuck it up. Pro Skater 3, I'll be honest, I'm not too worried about them messing up, because if they do the exact same thing they did with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake with Pro Skater 3, it'll be good. You know, that's all they have to do. As long as they don't remove the really good songs from the soundtrack, like there better be CKY 99 Bit of Beings, that better be in this game. There better be KRS-One. You've also got Redman and Exhibit, so this better be in the game, alright? They cannot remove any of the songs, because the soundtrack is a lot of the reason why this game is so bloody good. I've gone back to this game so many times, guys. I've probably played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 more than any other Tony Hawk game because of how ridiculously replayable it is. And again, a lot of that does come down to the soundtrack, because when I start playing this game and that soundtrack hits, I just immediately fall in love. I also hope that we do get some unlockable characters in this game. I know there was like a digital deluxe edition that comes with some Doom characters or something like that. That's cool, but I want you to be able to actually unlock characters by beating this game. When you beat this game for the first time, you unlock Darth Maul, which is one of the best unlockable characters of all time. And the more times you complete it, the more characters and just extras you unlock, and there's some absolutely just awesome characters that you can unlock in here. You can unlock Wolverine in this game. Alright, so there better be a little bit of that. I'm not expecting there to be Darth Maul, but just something that's at least amazing, you know, some really cool unlockables when you beat this game. But that aside, guys, I'm not too worried about them messing this one up. As long as they retain that soundtrack, you know, I want to hear some heavy metal in there as well. I want to see some punk rock. I want to see some rap. Alien Ant Farm is another one that sort of springs to my mind. That better be in this game. It's one of my favorite songs from Alien Ant Farm is Wish. So yeah, as long as they keep that soundtrack, put some unlockables, Pro Skater 3 will be good. I'm not too worried. Pro Skater 4 is where my biggest concerns are. So yeah, my concerns actually stem from a Jake Baldino video that I was watching, and he was talking about it, and obviously he's super excited because he's a big Tony Hawk fan as well. And in that video, he mentioned that they are going to change the structure of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and I don't know if that's speculation or confirmed, but if they do change the structure of this game, I do feel like it won't be that good. Half the reason I adore Pro Skater 4 is the structure of the game. I just think it's absolutely perfect, and I don't get why people hate the structure here. I honestly love it. The way this game works is essentially each map is just a free skate zone. You can just skate around and collect cash and do what the hell you want, and then also there's a load of missions scattered around the map, and you can pick up and do the missions whenever you feel like. It's amazing. I freaking love the structure here. Part of the reason I love it so much, guys, is some of these challenges are balls hard, but because I love Tony Hawk, I don't mind replaying those challenges over and over and over again, and I've done them so many times that a lot of them aren't as hard as they used to be, especially when you get up to those Pro Skater challenges. Like, you've got the Bam Margera trolley run, which is super difficult, but I fucking love it. If I remember correctly, the Bob Burnquist one was super difficult. I think you go through this like swirly ramp, and it was just stupidly difficult. So yeah, there's some pretty tough Pro Skater challenges in this one, but even before that, like, if you're just playing through the regular missions, there's some tough ones. You've got the Kona Snake run, which is kind of infamous at this point, but I love it, and I've done it so many times now that it's not actually that difficult. You've got the Escape from Alcatraz, which is a kind of a tough goal, but again, I've done it so many times it's not super difficult, and I just absolutely adore missions like that. And because of the way this game is structured, it's actually one of the longer Tony Hawk's games. Like, if you go back and play through the Tony Hawk games, you can beat most of them in a few hours. Like, I've beaten pretty much every Tony Hawk game in just a sitting or two. Pro Skater 4, I could play this game all day, every day for a week, and it will still take me that long to beat it. And yeah, it's because of the structure. The structure makes this game what it is. If they change that into the classic mode 2-minute runs, then it just sort of ruins the game a little bit. Like, it'll still be fun and good, but that's not what Pro Skater 4 is. So yeah, I really hope that that's just speculation. I hope that's not confirmed, but if they do change the structure, I will be a little bit disappointed, because I absolutely adore Pro Skater 4. Like I said, it's probably my top 5 favorite games of all time. I've got so much nostalgia for this game, it's not even funny. I mean, I've got a lot of nostalgia for most of the games, but this one in particular, I feel like has possibly the strongest nostalgia. I remember my older brother picked it up from, I can't remember, it's called Apollo. It was like a rental store, quite similar to Blockbuster, and it was in my local town, and I remember my older brother getting this because they were selling it. I used to play it with him all the time, and I just had this weird obsession with Ollie the Bum for some reason. So yeah, I've got tons of nostalgia from my early days, but I've also got a lot of nostalgia for this game later on in life. Like, I remember when I was a teenager, I would have been about 14 years old, and I remember a CEX had opened up in my local town, and I didn't know what CEX was really. I'd heard of it, but I'd never seen one before. But I remember walking into that CEX, and my jaw dropped, because I just saw the prices of the stuff in there, like DVDs and games were just so cheap, and I was used to Game and HMV and the way they price stuff, and you wouldn't get stuff for super cheap in those stores. But in CEX, they had tons of DVDs, and we're talking like £1, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But what was even more jaw-dropping is the fact that they had retro games in there, and again, I was used to Game and HMV, where all they sold was modern stuff. So when I saw PS2 games on a shelf, I was like, holy hell. And at the time, I wasn't really into like retro gaming, but I remember seeing Pro Skater 4, and it was this copy of Pro Skater 4 that I saw in there, and it was like a couple of quid. So of course I had to get it, you know, like I was so hyped. I remember taking it home that day, I dusted off the PS2, start playing this game, and just immediately fell in love again. And yeah, I just got tons of memories as a teenager, and I've even got like loads of nostalgia quite recently. This was during COVID times, and we were just about to go into lockdown. I just recently started getting into like collecting games again, because before that I would just collect for the modern systems, but I really wanted to start buying back some of my older games and systems. I remember walking into a CEX, and again, this was like a week or two before we were about to go into lockdown. I walked into CEX and I came out with a PlayStation 2, because my PS2 was just absolutely fucking smashed, and the disc drive was hardly functional. It didn't play half the games I put in it, so I wanted a new PS2. I remember taking it home and just dabbling with a handful of games. I played a little bit of Max Payne, I played some GTA, but then I booted up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, and I still had that copy from when I was a teenager. I put it in, and I thought I was just going to play it for 10-15 minutes. Before I knew it, I was playing through the whole damn game. I'd never beaten Pro Skater 4 before this point. Like, I'd played it a million times, but never actually finished it, and I set myself a goal, because we were about to go into lockdown, that I was going to finish this game no matter what it took. So I played this game for like 2 weeks straight and ended up finishing it, and some of those harder goals really took me a long time, but I had such a blast. Since that day, guys, I've probably beaten this game another 3 or 4 times all the way through, all the way to like 100% completion. I adore this game so much, guys. I really hope they don't mess it up. I'm sure it's come across here on camera how much I adore it, so I wouldn't be able to stomach it if they make this game bad. I suppose the silver lining is, guys, if they do mess it up, I've still got these two, you know, I've still got my PS2, I can always just boot these up and play it again. But yeah, I need them to get these games right. I also heard a rumor as well that they might not be able to get Bam Margera for these games. I mean, it's not a deal breaker for me, but it certainly would make me sad, because Bam Margera was a big part of my childhood. I remember I used to watch Viva La Bam and Jackass, so if he's not in these games, I won't be like absolutely decimated, underrated, but I would be sad because low-key Bam Margera is just as important as Tony Hawk himself to these games, in my opinion. I'd be more upset if they end up doing an Underground 2 remake and Bam Margera's not in it, because, I mean, he's like the biggest part of that game. It's basically a Bam Margera game, Underground 2, so if he's not in that, then I don't think they'll be able to do it. Anyway, guys, I've rambled on enough about these games. I just kind of wanted to express my opinion on the new remake. I'm still super duper excited for it. I cannot wait. My pre-order has been done, so I'm hoping that that's going to come. I think there's going to be a demo as well. Can't remember when the demo is coming, but you can play the Foundry demo at some point, so I'll probably do a video on that, because, I mean, just Foundry is such an iconic map. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comments how you feel about Pro Skater 3 and 4. Are you excited? Are you scared? Are you worried? Let me know your thoughts. Other than that, though, boys, subscribe here if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Peace.